She left me a suicide video. Basically, if you're watching this, it's because I'm dead. She's like, I need you to use your voice about what happened to us so that people learn and people change and people do things differently for that next generation. Like, you have to use your voice. And I was like, how about we negotiate and I don't use my voice and you just stay? You kind of live through this trauma and it kind of reverberates throughout my entire Indigenous family. I don't really have a happy story. I have like a very devastating story. My first memory was, having my mouth taped shut. When I was a kid, my adopted parents were driving to the community of Ganawage, which is the Mohawk community that's closest to Montreal. And my parents were driving in their Mercedes Benz, and I was about 12 years old. He drove around the community and he said, look at these houses. Everyone you see is on welfare, and if they never ate, and if they never spent any money on food or rent, they could still not afford this Mercedes Benz we're in. And then he stopped the car. He goes, you want to tell people you're Indian? Get out. My brother and sister sitting beside me, and they both turn and look at me like, ugh, like, why do we have to go through this? So this is me at 12 years old. Growing up in the household that I lived in was not an empowering experience. They used to tell me that, Native people, when they grow up, they usually become drug addicts and prostitutes. That's your future. When you constantly hear that, you start to wonder. And that's why it was so important that I had my bubby, because she used to tell me, you're going to do great things. She totally saw that I would do really amazing things, but I didn't believe that because there were a lot of instances growing up where they would put me in a position where I should be ashamed of who I am. So my bubby, my Jewish grandmother, just thought I was the most incredible kid ever. And she was always thrilled to see me. And it was always like a treat to spend time with her. My parents used to say that, Native people are the dregs of society. So why would you want to tell people you're that? You should just tell people you're Israeli because you're dark. That's a good story. Go with that. And I was like, but I'm not. And I don't want to pretend I'm something that I'm not. It got to a point that it was so hard to live at home that I thought I was going to just kill myself. So one night I just packed up some clothes and I left. When I left home, I think that to them it was like a slap in the face. Like, how dare you leave us and go to that when you can have all this? I am from Lac La Ronge, Saskatchewan. I am Cree. My mother, she had about 7 children. All of them were taken, pretty much all of them into foster care. For whatever reason, I was the only one that was put into the Sixties Scoop.
The Sixties Scoop was the government's policy where they took Aboriginal children from their homes and they placed them with non-indigenous families. And they did this on many different levels.
Me and my sister Sonia were already in a foster home together. Social worker comes in, takes a look at me, and then looks at my older sister and says, that one. My parents went into Jewish Family Services because they wanted to adopt children. They didn't think they could have natural children. They basically had, a photo album of Indigenous children from all over Canada. And they stopped at my picture, and for whatever reason, they're like, we'll take her. The social worker put me on a plane from Thompson, Manitoba, and brought me here to Montreal. My sister, in the foster home, we slept in the same bed by choice, but when she woke up, I was gone. So she didn't understand. She was 6. She was not considered adoptable. that really affected her. So she was like, where did she go? She thought maybe our biological mother came, picked me up, and left Sonia in the foster home. It affected her profoundly that she did not know where I was and that she was looking for me. She was really devastated. Like, it made no sense and nobody had any answers for her. Now I'm in Montreal with this white family that I don't really know. Not sure what I'm doing here. And you know, it was incredibly difficult. From what I understand, I barely spoke for like months. I mean, I remember literally looking at the sky and thinking, I have a mother and sister out there. When my bubby started to, she had cancer, she knew that she was the only family I had. She was the only one that I could turn to. Now she knew that she was gonna die. She was like, I'm gonna send you back to your family. We're gonna find your family so that when I'm gone, you will have a support system. So because of the documents that I had before, there was a listing of all the family members. So that's what I did. I wrote to all of them and explained my mother is, you know, and I am looking for my Indian status and also to reconnect. And one of the brothers was still living at the address from the legal document. So he was the one who wrote back and was really excited, and she sent the plane ticket so that I go and meet him. My bubby, she knew that she was gonna die. And I remember walking into the room to like say goodbye to her. Her eyes were open and she was breathing, but she wasn't speaking. So I just thanked her for everything. You know, and I told her, you were the best thing about being adopted. And just offering words of gratitude for her. And then, you know, I left and she died like 5 minutes later. I was lucky to be able to give those positive words, because, you know, you have to show when you're grateful. Like, she was really someone that helped me become the person that I am. You have to understand, like, I have 3 children, and I often wondered, how am I going to raise my children and show them that I love them? And it's because of my bubby. I was at a hotel and my sister came into the hotel and we were both at the reception area, and she recognized my voice, which is so weird because she hadn't heard me since I was 3, but as soon as she heard my voice, she knew it was me and she gave me a big hug. Like, the bond that we had when we were kids, like, just came back. Everybody really liked the reunion story. They liked it. Oh my God, beautiful story. Wait. Y'all come back together. You have to think of those memories. You have to live in the now, knowing everything that you lost, and try to come to grips with that. What's hard is that she has really negative memories. We were really happy to get together, but the implications of understanding everything that was lost, like, we were all in our 40s at this point. We're like, well, what about our entire life that none of us got to know each other, about our lost childhoods, about the abuse that we went through, about the broken family, about this? Like, that really weighed my sister down. And Sonia really spiraled. And she was like, I'm tired. And she left me a suicide video. So basically, if you're watching this, it's because I'm dead. She emailed it to me. So it's like, Sonia has sent you a video. And I'm watching this video on, oh God, on my laptop. And it's slow because it's a video. So it starts and she says a couple of words and then it's like, you know, loading. So this video where I know what's happening is taking, a 10-minute video is taking an hour to watch. So I'm like beside myself because I want to see like what happens at the end. Like, does she, because she's describing what she's going to do in terms of end her life. And she's describing about why she's ending her life and the implications of everything that's happened to her. She's like, I can't get along with my own children because of what happened to me. She's like, I need you to use your voice about what happened to us so that people learn and people change and people do things differently for that next generation. Like, you have to use your voice. And I was like, how about we negotiate and I don't use my voice and you just stay. But she ended up hanging herself. And she was like the strongest person I ever met. So that was really troublesome because I didn't expect that. But I think that, you know, the pain was just too much and she was tired. It really floored me. Okay, so you have to understand that my bubby led me to Sonia, and then she died. And Sonia had the same unconditional love for me. And now she's dead. So it made me feel very much alone. I tried to sort of figure out how I was going to move forward, because I really was close to my sister. I called her, or we messaged each other often. But I also wanted to honor her last wish. She was like, get the word out. There's a reason why we are alive, and there's a reason why people go through an enormous amount of trauma and are still here on this earth, and there's a purpose, and everyone has one. So you have to try to make it better for that next generation. So my kids, you know, I don't do drugs, I don't drink alcohol. That's breaking the cycle. You know, I don't hit my children. My kids are not in youth protection. Like, they were that first generation that we get to keep our children. You have to kind of like break that cycle. So my kids know that they're incredibly loved and protected, and they know that they should be very proud of their Cree culture. Know that even when you're in a really negative space, that mentors can like completely change your life. Because I'm telling you, if I didn't have my bubby, I'd be dead, for sure. When someone really believes in you and then you get this opportunity and you're like, maybe I can do it. That makes all the difference. And I think that if you continue to give out those positive words to someone who is suffering, that eventually it will break through. And that's what we have to do.